103 and 103.7. Welcome in to News and Views with Tom Lamprecht. The stories you've heard and the ones you need to hear.
There was a shooting outside of the White House.
On the COVID relief bill, the president was right to take executive action to provide economic relief.
We are in the final phases with a couple of those vaccine candidates.
This was an act of violence against our police officers and against our city.
The first black woman to lead the Seattle Police Department pushed out in this way.
Your life, your values, your voice. This is News and Views with Tom Lamprecht on Talk 96.3 and 103.7.
All right, welcome in. And yesterday and today, Donald Trump continues to point at the craziness going on around the country. Meanwhile, in the other camp, Joe Biden was threatened that if he didn't pick a black woman, that he would lose the election. And 100 black leaders, male black leaders, came out and said, we will not help you out if you don't pick a black woman. So this afternoon, he picked a black woman as a running mate, Kamala Harris. So this could be identity politics, big time. Now, Joe Biden will come out and say, those people that told me I had to pick a black, I had nothing to do with my choice. It is interesting. I just said this yesterday. I said, I can't believe he would pick Kamala Harris. Why? Based upon how she treated him a year ago during the debates. So everybody's going to go gaga that she's the first black woman. You know what's really interesting, though? Her own dad, who is Jamaican, gets upset with his daughter, Kamala, because she says, I was born black and I will die black. He says, I'm Jamaican, and your mom's Indian. So her own dad is upset with her. But nonetheless, it's all about identity politics. So all the mainstream media tonight, it's the first black woman. This is so significant. First black woman as a running mate. But just a year ago, she came out with both barrels against Joe Biden. This is everything but coming out and calling him a racist. And I would say within the next 24 hours, you are going to hear this as a Donald Trump campaign ad.
And the excuse for that, so there is no we're forced to do until you free them that would have from being revealed evidence.
Now, let's go to the other cut. Let's go to the other Kamala Harris cut. That was Tulsi Gabbard. Let's go to the other Kamala Harris.
Lives and these people's an impact, make a difference.
To hear you talk about the reputations of two United...
To be in a position, Senator Harris, when you were as Senator, the bottom line...
Back in, your Congresswoman, I want to bring...
Lives and these people...
All right, we're obviously having some technical issues with that. But the producer's going to see if he can reload it. A year ago, just a year ago, Kamala Harris went after Joe Biden with both barrels, going after him and basically saying, you aligned yourself with racists. You aligned yourself, talking about Robert Byrd and others. You aligned yourself and you oppose federal busing. And the interesting thing about this audio clip, if you go look at the video, and it's going to be all over the internet today and tonight and tomorrow and probably between now and November. If you watch that video, Cousin Eddie, Crazy Joe, has that lost look in his eyes. Now, he did respond. Joe looked better a year ago than he does today. But he still had that lost look. And he looks at Kamala and just said, well, I oppose the education department mandating busing. But she just said, that's when she had her story about how she was a little girl and that she had to go to a segregated school. She let him have it. She let him have it, and it will end up being a Donald Trump campaign ad. All right, we got it. This is from a year ago. Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, Kamala attacking Joe.
It's personal, and I was actually it was hurtful. to hear you talk about the reputations of two United States senators who built their reputations and career on the segregation of race in this country. And it was not only that, but you also worked with them to oppose busing.
Look, everything I've done in my career, I ran because of civil rights. I continue to think we have to make fundamental changes in civil rights. And those civil rights, by the way, include not just only African Americans, but the LGBT community.
But Vice President Biden, do you agree today that you were wrong to oppose busing in America then?
No,
do you agree?
I did not oppose busing in America. What I opposed is busing ordered by the Department of Education. That's what I opposed.
Well, there was a failure of states to integrate public schools in America. I was part of the second class to integrate Berkeley, California public schools almost 2 decades after Brown v. Board of Education.
Because your city council made that decision. It was a local decision.
So that's where the federal government must step in. That's why we have the Voting Rights Act and the Civil Rights Act. That's why we need to pass the Equality Act. That's why we need to pass the ERA, because there are moments in history where states fail to preserve the civil rights of all people.
Now, look, I don't think you can mend that. I don't think you're going to be able to go back. Oh, they're friends now. I mean, that was nasty. And Kamala Harris, I mean, she is a attack dog. And on one hand, I realize, okay, she's now going to turn her attack on Donald Trump and Mike Pence. But every time that they attack, that she attacks them, all they got to do is turn around and say, okay, well, this is how you feel about Joe. But what's interesting, then, Joe turned around and he went after Kamala Harris, saying that Kamala Harris was forced by a judge to release prisoners that she had put in prison on minor marijuana charges. Now, not only did Joe say that, but Tulsi Gabbard a year ago, we got this one ready to go? Tulsi Gabbard a year ago in the debates said the same thing going after Kamala Harris.
There are too many examples to cite, but she put over 1,500 people in jail for marijuana violations and then laughed about it when she was asked if she ever smoked marijuana. She blocked evidence. That would have freed an innocent man from death row until the courts forced her to do so. She kept people in prison beyond their sentences to use them as cheap labor for the state of California. And she fought to keep cash bail system in place that impacts poor people in the worst kind of way.
Thank you, Congresswoman. Senator Harris, your response.
As the elected Attorney General of California, I did the work of significantly reforming the criminal justice system of a state of 40 million people, which became a national model for the work that needs to be done. And I am proud of that work. And I am proud of making a decision to not just give fancy speeches or be in a legislative body and give speeches on the floor, but actually doing the work of being in the position to use the power that I had to reform a system that is badly in need of reform. That is why we created initiatives that were about reentering former offenders and getting them counseling. It is why, and because I know that criminal justice system is so broken, that I am an advocate for what we need to do to not only decriminalize, but legalize marijuana in the United States.
I want to bring Congresswoman Gabbard back in. Your response.
The bottom line is, Senator Harris, when you were in a position to make a difference and an impact in these people's lives, you did not. And worse yet, in the case of those who were on death row, innocent people, you actually blocked evidence from being revealed that would have freed them until you were forced to do so. There is no excuse for that. And the people who suffered under your reign as prosecutor, you owe them an apology.
That might be the second ad against the Biden-Kamala Harris ticket. So it's really interesting. Donald Trump doesn't have to speak up against Biden. He has Kamala Harris to do it. Donald Trump doesn't have to speak up against Kamala. He has Joe Biden and Tulsi Gabbard to do it. And this is who they pick. But listen, bottom line is Kamala Harris is a communist. She's a Marxist. The nice people today are saying she's a socialist. She's a Marxist. And she marches in lockstep with everything that you see happening around the country right now. I cannot believe that any American that has a lick of common sense will look at this and say, oh, wow, I can't wait to get out there and vote for the Biden-Kamala Harris ticket. You've got a naive, useful idiot on the top of the ticket, and you've got a Marxist on the bottom of the ticket. And look, the useful idiot will be gone within, if they win this election, the useful idiot will be gone within weeks, maybe months, but it won't be a year. And even if he is in there, he's going to be a puppet. But look at Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris. Remember, she was also the one when Brett Kavanaugh was being questioned. She sent during her questioning, she suggested a false narrative. I can't remember now what it was, but remember she suggested a question that when she said, oh, okay, now think very carefully about your answer here, very carefully, as if she had some information that she was going to catch Brett Kavanaugh in a lie. Didn't happen. Brett Kavanaugh was shrewd enough to realize, okay, I'm not going to play this game. If you got something to tell me, go ahead and tell me, because I don't know what you're talking about. She was all about the New Green Deal. She was a part of AOC's. She was a co-sponsor of that. She supported, and you just heard it here, she supported the federal legalization of marijuana. She was a co-sponsor of Bernie Sanders' single-payer Medicare for all. The senator called for a national moratorium on the death penalty and on gun violence. Yeah, it'd be nice to have a moratorium on gun violence. Why don't you speak out about that in Chicago? Why don't you speak out on that for, 21 people were shot at one single event in Washington, D.C. over the weekend? Why don't you speak out about that? Everybody's ready for a moratorium on gun violence, but you take it too far when you're proposing a ban on importing certain weapons that are perfectly legal. The only good thing about this is we don't have to listen to Elizabeth Warren and her whiny voice. Now, we do have to hear the whiny voice of Kamala Harris. So with Elizabeth Warren, you get, I think I'll have a beer now. But with Kamala Harris, you have to listen to me speak through my whiny nose. There'll be a 24-hour jumping up and down of progressives, how wonderful this is. I don't see it. I don't think it's going to help the Biden campaign one iota. Love to hear from you. 561-8255. Let's go ahead and take a time out. Lots more to come. Love to hear from you. What are your thoughts on Kamala Harris? Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Ever wonder what it would be like to live in a quaint community where people still know your name? Consider Ayden. Ideally located between Greenville and Kinston, Ayden is recognized as one of America's best small communities to raise a family. There's a lot going on in Ayden. New and existing single-family neighborhoods perfect for retirees and growing families, award-winning schools and active arts community, and a great recreational program featuring a 50-acre park with a children's splash pad. Find out more at Ayden.com.
Hey there, if you're hearing this ad right now, we want to talk to you. Hi, I'm Rachel Tyre, owner of Tyre Realty Group, and as you've probably heard by now, the real estate market is booming, and we need your help. We are currently in search of 3 to 4 driven salespeople to join our real estate team and assist us with the high demand. Whether you're licensed or not, we need to talk. So what are you waiting for? Visit our website at trgcareer.com or give us a call today, 252-758-HOME. That's 252-758-4663.
Let me tell you a thing or two about the people who don't compromise. For starters, they love a nice, cold Pepsi Zero Sugar. Why? Because it's delicious, it's refreshing, and it has zero sugar. How's that for not compromising? They're the sort of person that likes surf with their turf. Because who decided beef shouldn't have a buddy? And the drink with their feast? Yeah, they have a Pepsi Zero Sugar. The person who doesn't compromise loves a good golden doodle. All the golden retriever goodness with just a hint of doodle. No compromises there. Oh, and when they're bringing said golden doodle for a walk, they bring a Pepsi Zero Sugar. They're the kind of person jorts were made for. 50% jeans, 50% shorts, 100% the most comfortable thing that's ever graced your wardrobe. Not compromising never looked so good. So crack open a Pepsi Zero Sugar and taste what it's like to have it all. Pepsi Zero Sugar. Zero sugar done right. That's what I like.
GoEco is the office equipment company that people all over eastern North Carolina are turning to for their office copier and equipment needs. GoEco sells and services Canon copiers and office products. They have a great service team that's quick to respond when you need them. We here at Interbanks Media just made the switch to GoEco, and they're saving us money in printing costs. Other businesses in and around Greenville are making the switch too. Dirk's Chiropractic switched over a year ago and saved money. GoEco bought out their existing lease, and Dirk's Chiropractic received better products fitting their needs. In fact, GoEco has saved local clients who have switched over $178,000. Oh, and some businesses might qualify for no payments until 2021. Call Area Sales Director Tom Watkins at GoEco for a free consultation today. 252-227-0581 or email info@goeconc.com. Save money by switching to GoEco.
We choose truth over facts.
No matter what he says.
I got hairy legs.
No matter what he does.
And I've loved kids jumping on my lap.
Just goes to show you that this election is anything but normal.
If you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black, play the radio. Make sure the television,
The countdown to the presidential election continues on Talk 96.3 and 103.7.
All right, welcome back in. 21 minutes past the top of the hour. Taking a look at your weather forecast tonight. Showers and thunderstorms likely before 9 p.m. A chance of rain is 60%. Tonight's low is going to be around 73. Tomorrow, carbon copy of today. Partly sunny, high near 89 with a 40% chance of showers. And again, the same for tomorrow night, 40% chance of showers. And Thursday and Friday and Saturday and Sunday, all the same. Weather brought to you by our friends at the Ironwood Golf and Country Club. Celebrate your big event this year at Ironwood Golf and Country Club. Over $300,000 in upgrades in just the clubhouse. The plantation-style clubhouse is the perfect setting to host your wedding, birthday, anniversary, baby reveal party, graduation celebration, business meeting, or holiday party. Ironwood offers several private party spaces leading out to terraces with beautiful views of our Lee Trevino signature golf course. Make this year's celebration one to remember at one of the most beautiful venues in eastern North Carolina. Contact Taylor Hetzel, banquet manager at Ironwood Golf and Country Club. Her number is 252-752-4653, or email Taylor at foodandbeverage@ironwoodgolf.com. I do want to mention before we go to the phones, a Superior Court judge has rejected Lieutenant Governor Dan Forrest's attempt to throw out some of Governor Cooper's executive orders like COVID-19, but the judge is also allowing the case to move forward. So basically what Dan Forrest, Lieutenant Governor, wanted was basically an injunction. He wanted the judge to immediately reverse Cooper's executive orders while we were awaiting for the trial to take place. And to that, the judge said no. Now, if you read the News and Observer this afternoon, the headline is Dan Forrest loses and Cooper wins. Okay, that's true to an extent. Dan Forrest was denied an immediate reversal before the hearing would take place, before the court case would take place. Dan Forrest didn't lose the court case. That will happen, and we'll find out where it goes. But he did not get an immediate reversal of these executive orders that he wanted. Basically, the challenge was, according to the Emergency Management Act, and as I read it, I think Dan Forrest is correct. As I read it, it would say you need the Council of State to be in concurrence with the governor's decisions. And Governor Cooper is saying, no, I can do this all by myself. And one of the things that the judge did say is, unfortunately, the law doesn't exactly say how you have to get concurrence. However, I think if you went and did a polling of the 10 members of the Council of State, the majority of those members would say, no, we never gave you concurrence on any of your executive orders. Whether they all would say that, probably not. But the majority of them, I think they would. And again, Judge James Gale hinted just a week ago that this case would likely end up at the North Carolina Supreme Court. And unfortunately, if that is the case, the Democrats have a overwhelming majority there. Also, real quickly, at 3:15 this afternoon, The presidents of the Big Ten schools have voted to postpone their 2020 college football season. And then at 12:46, the Pac-12 said they will suspend all football activity until January, which means no college football season in 2020. I just don't see how you can have spring football and then turn around and have it again in the fall. But there are other people out there that might have a different opinion. 561-8255. Patsy's on the line from Jacksonville. Hey, Patsy.
Yes, I'll be real quick because I know you have a lot of callers today. But I just wanted to say that on the Kamala Harris thing.
Yes, ma'am.
I would be very insulted myself if somebody selected me because they said they were going to select a person of color. Because so many other millions of people think you were picked just because of your color, not because of your qualifications. And he should have said he's going to pick the most qualified person.
Right. Well, I mean, he will come out and say that. I mean, he will come out and say it's the most qualified, but it is identity politics. And you're absolutely right.
He said he's going to select a person of color.
Yeah, he did. He did say that, and he did do that. But when he released his statement today, he praised her as being a genius and all that other stuff. So I mean, yeah. But you're right. That wasn't the primary reason. If Kamala Harris had been Caucasian, which by the way, again, her mom's Indian, her dad's Jamaican, but
right.
she claims that she says black. She didn't say African American. She said black. But had she been Caucasian, the question is, would he have picked her? And I think the answer is no, he would not have because of the pressure.
That's right, absolutely.
Yep.
So all of that. So I have I don't agree with it at all. I think there's so many more people that would have been more qualified out there, even though I'm not a Democrat. But that just on that. And the other thing that I mentioned to your intake person was about, I thought when I mentioned about contamination getting into people's hair, they thought I was just hooked on hair, but I'm thinking about the person, everything, your clothing, and there should be a decontamination station to every business when you go in and when you come out if we're going to stay in this lockdown forever and have to wear a mask. So we don't contaminate our car, the clothes that we're wearing, contaminate your house, contaminate your bed.
Well,
so how are we going to get rid of the virus?
They keep changing the narrative of how you can get it, but right now, I guess the big deal is they're the so-called experts, and I'd say so-called experts, are saying that the biggest prevention is the masks. Although I don't know, did you hear the other day they came out and some dentists have come out and said, well, you can actually have dental issues, mouth issues, if you wear a mask for too long. So
absolutely.
I hear you.
So when you wear the mask all day, you're working on a job and you get in your car and you take your mask off. Are germs not on that mask that you're taking off? There hasn't been any handling procedure for that when you leave the building or whatever.
Yeah.
And that just concerns me.
I hear you.
I think the country, we need to be open.
The best way to get rid of the coronavirus is through letting it run its course. And again, if you look at the number, if you look at it'll run its course. My producer just said that's in November, and he's right. It'll all be over November 4th. But again, if you look back to 2017, the number of deaths in North Carolina from the flu in 2017 were pretty much identical to what the number of deaths are right now from the coronavirus in North Carolina.
And you wouldn't even look at car accident, how many got killed and how many were injured, year after year after year, and there's no slowdown in that, and we're not even concerned about those deaths.
Yeah, I heard somebody was talking today saying that if you're under, I think, age 15, the chances of you getting struck by lightning and dying is greater than the chances of you dying from the coronavirus.
Yeah, I heard that as well today. I don't know if it was on our Rush Limbaugh show or
maybe it was
Kennedy, one of them, because they had our assistant on that.
All right, Patsy, thanks for the call. Always good to hear from you.
Okay, thank you.
You bet. So the chief of police in Seattle, or was it Seattle or Portland? Where's that story? Yeah, Seattle. Karma Best. She announced her resignation today. Now they cut her pay, and of course they're cutting the whole financial picture for her police department. But she said she wasn't leaving because they were cutting her pay. She was resigning because of the total lack of respect towards her fellow officers. Her best resignation comes amid the city council's decision to reduce the department by as many as 100 officers through layoffs and attrition. In response to a reporter who asked if her decision was motivated by protesters who appeared at her home earlier this month, one of the city council's decisions, the best said it was not about the money, and it certainly isn't about the demonstrators. I mean, I have real thicker skin than that. It's really about the overarching lack of respect for officers, the men, the women who work so hard day in and day out. She added the idea that we've worked so incredibly hard to make sure our department was diverse, that it reflects the community we serve. To just turn on all that, turn it on a dime and hack it off without having a plan in place to move forward is highly distressful to me. But wait a minute. This is a black woman. I thought intersectionality meant a black woman was pretty high up on the ladder of liberalism, right? Oh, you mean it doesn't count if you're on the police force. So her black life doesn't really matter. It's because if she was an ultra-liberal black life that was not on the police force, maybe it would matter. But hers doesn't matter. 561-8255. Let's go to Brent in Greenville. Hey, Brent.
Hi, Tom. I wanted to tell you that, let me tell you what else doesn't matter. Joe Biden could have picked the gopher from Caddyshack for his running mate, and it wouldn't matter. Kamala Harris is not going to help his cause one bit. Democrats who are diehard Democrats who hate Trump are going to vote for Biden. It doesn't matter who Kamala Harris is. She may, if there's a small percentage of some African-American women out there who think that she's African-American and they don't know that she's not, they may turn their vote, but I seriously doubt it. I still believe that President Trump is going to win by a landslide unless the Democrats find a way to cheat as they have been trying to do with the mail-in ballots.
Oh, absolutely. You know, it's interesting. I've got another story here that talking about how Josh Stein in just 2018, when we had the congressional McRae-Dallas situation down in the 9th Congressional District, Josh Stein was all over talking about how we didn't need voter ID because fraud comes through absentee ballot. It doesn't happen at the ballot boxes. Therefore, we didn't need voter ID when he was against that.
Yeah.
So he proved the point that, absentee mail-in ballots, that's where the fraud occurs. That's where the ballot harvesting occurs. And what do they all want to do right now? Mail-in ballots and ballot harvesting. And
mail-in ballots.
Yeah.
And like the pictures that have been on Facebook, you know, if you can gather to riot without a mask, you can go to the polls with a mask on.
Exactly.
Tom, you're a great American. Thank you.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you, sir. 561-8255. Thanks, Brent. A Chicago branch of Black Lives Matter gathered in front of a police station on Chicago's South Side where demonstrators claimed more than 100 people were being held following the arrest for looting and rioting on Sunday night, demanding that the protesters be released. Now, there is, there was this, what do they call it, the Magnificent Mile shopping district in Chicago. Never been there, but it's all these high-end stores, the high-end stores. Black Lives Matter. Ariel Atkins, who is an organizer for Chicago's Black Lives Matter, she defended, and by the way, it wasn't like they went and shoplift. They took an automobile and rammed the stores, busting open the windows, busting open the front doors, and dozens, if not hundreds, of looters went in and just stole everything out of the store, anything they could get their hands on. And they did this to multiple of these high-end Gucci stores, Nike stores, Macy's, taking whatever they wanted to take. And this woman, Ariel Atkins, said, well, this is reparations. This is reparations. They deserve, because they deserve reparations, they deserve to go in and be able to loot. And then, of course, she went on to say, these poor people are starving and they have to eat, and it doesn't really matter because insurance covers it all. Look, stealing is stealing, whether you're stealing from an insurance company or you're stealing from a store. And again, this narrative is not being put on the mainstream media. CNN, MSNBC, ABC, CBS, NBC, they're not putting these stories on the air because they know this is good for Donald Trump. They know it is bad for Joe Biden. But here's the thing. People are saying it. I don't see how the mainstream media can hide it. I mean, Chicago is one of the biggest cities in the country. The people in Chicago see it. They see it real clear. 561-8255. Who do we got? All right, Howard from Hosky. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing fine.
Good to hear from you.
In regards to the affirmative action vice president pick of Harris, I guess she must have had the best smelling hair, because Biden has this thing about going up behind women, and he likes to put his nose right in the back of his head and just nuzzle back there and just get a good whiff.
He's a creep. He's a creep. I guess, yeah. That is. I like that, Howard. That is good. That is probably the best reason why he picked her. You're probably absolutely right. She probably has the best smelling hair.
At first he said a woman, then he boxed himself into a black woman. But if he had just maybe Stormy Daniels would have been a good pick for him, Tom.
Well, he probably would have gotten more attention with that. I don't know whose hair would smell better, but I like the way you assessed how he picked her. And you're probably right. She probably had the best smelling hair. Howard, thanks for the call. Appreciate it. Great point. Love it. You bet. Let's before we go to Mitchell. Speaking of Mitchell, The Blaze is reporting on a young black woman, Shamika Mitchell. She is a former Democrat, and there's a video of her that has gone viral where she is confronting a young white man who apparently is demonstrating for the Black Lives Matter movement. Mitchell, who now, again, she's a black woman, she's now a Trump supporter. She marched last weekend in Los Angeles to demonstrate her commitment to the hashtag walkaway movement, and showing her support of Donald Trump. But in this video, this is the audio of the video, Mitchell is speaking with this white Black Lives Matter protester, and we've said it over and over again, 50%, if not 75% of the Black Lives Matter marchers are not black. They're white. And this Shamika Mitchell confronts this guy and just said, you know what, buddy? You do not speak for me.
I don't need your privilege to tell me or to justify who I am in America. This is my country. This is my land. My ancestors built this country. So I'm going to walk around here as bold as I want to. And I don't have to have you to co-sign and tell me my life matters. That right there insinuates that you think your voice is bigger and better than mine. Yes, it does. You can disagree, but you are supporting an organization that does not like black men. And as a black woman, I can tell you how important black men are to the black family. Without them, we are nothing. So when you support an organization that doesn't push them up the way we need them to be, and post it wherever you like.
So she says, I don't need you to tell me that my life matters. I don't need your privilege to tell me or to justify who I am in America. I don't have to have you co-sign and tell me my life matters. That right there insinuates that you think your voice is bigger and better than mine. You're supporting an organization that does not like black men. As a black woman, I can tell you how important black men are to the black family. Without them, we are nothing. She is right. And she hits it on the head, and I've said this before. How arrogant is it of this attitude of white Black Lives Matter Marxist going around as if it wasn't for us taking care of you, you wouldn't have a voice? It is insulting. I mean, it goes back again to the same old rhetoric when it came to the voter ID. Oh, well, this is racist to think that what's racist is that they think a black person can't get a voter ID. And yet that rhetoric and that narrative continues under Black Lives Matter. I think more and more black Americans are, first of all, Black Lives Matter represents, in my estimation, if it represents, I bet it does not represent more than 5% of black Americans, at the most, in all honesty, especially once they find out what it's all about. But these blacks don't want their neighborhoods torn down. Blacks don't want to be in fear of their life. 561-8255. Let's go to Mitchell. Hey, Mitchell.
Hey, how you doing, Tom?
Doing well. Good to hear from you.
Good. I keep hearing, throughout all this rioting and looting, I keep hearing insurance is going to pay for it. Insurance pays for it.
Yeah,
but, I mean, who do they think pays the insurance premium?
Bingo.
When insurance, when they start paying out more than they need to, I mean, just look at when hurricanes come through, the rates go up. Well, the same thing is going to happen with this. The rates are going to go up and the average is paying for it.
Yeah. In fact, we had to put a claim in on something that happened to our home. And guess what? We've been paying more, and now it's come the first of the year, it's supposed to go back down. But you're absolutely right. When you put in a big claim, it's not like, we're going to stroke you a check and there's no penalty for it. Yeah, you're absolutely right. The insurance is going to go up.
But it goes right along with yours, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, it's flat out stealing, and for them to use insurance for a crush just burns me up.
Well, they like to have a quick little sound bite that they think the people that don't really think through the issues as you have they'll buy into it. Oh, okay, that justifies it.
Right.
Yeah. Mitchell, thanks for the call. Right. Appreciate it, man.
Yep.
We got to take a time out, but when we get back, there is a story that happened over the weekend over in Wilson, North Carolina. It really just made the news big time today. It's actually making national news, and it will infuriate you, and it will break your heart. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
In this coronavirus crisis, leadership matters. Because of quick action by Senator Thom Tillis, North Carolina is getting what we need to fight this pandemic, securing millions of dollars for our hospitals to save lives and helping small businesses save more than 1 million jobs. Now, Senator Tillis is proposing a plan of action to get vital aid to North Carolina families. The Tillis plan? More COVID-19 testing, child care assistance for families, ensuring the health and safety of students, and more help for small businesses. Senator Tillis.
We've got to make sure that people who are struggling to pay for food, pay for rent, pay their mortgages, that we give them the resources that they need.
Call Senator Thom Tillis at 704-509-9087 and tell him to work in the Senate for the Tillis Plan of Action. Keep fighting for North Carolina families and keep saving our jobs. Paid for by One Nation, onenationamerica.org.
Fabric and Home Furnishings in Arlington Village is Greenville's complete home design center. They have an amazing design team and offer so much more than just fabric. At Fabric and Home Furnishings, they have the area's largest selection of Krypton fabric in stock. You can spill red wine on a white sofa with Krypton fabric and watch it roll right off. The Fabric and Home Furnishings design team will design a sofa for you, help you reupholster your existing sofa, or come to your home and help you with your entire project. Lisa and Dale Pendry at Fabric and Home Furnishings work hard to keep their inventory made in America. They support local craftsmen, employ ECU design students, and they can help turn your Eastern North Carolina home into a showplace. Find them on Facebook at Fabric and Home Furnishings and go see them at the store in Arlington Village. It's time to make your home a masterpiece with the help of Fabric and Home Furnishings. So much more than just a fabric store. On the north shore of the Pungo River, just 8 miles from the massive Pamlico Sound, lies the beautiful town of Belhaven. This picturesque community has attractive historic buildings, shops, restaurants, and incredible open water views. Come to Belhaven and find out why the boats stop here.
G.K. Pippin, your North Carolina Farm Bureau insurance agent for Belhaven and Bath. Contact his office for life, health, home, and auto insurance. Also, open enrollment is coming soon. Go with an agent you can trust. G.K. Pippin with North Carolina Farm Bureau, 943-6388.
TJ's Marine Construction, serving eastern North Carolina coastal communities since 1981 and operating TJ's Marina and Boatyard at 785 East Pantego Street with 20 permanent boat slip rentals and 60-ton travel lift. Learn more at tjsmarineconstruction.com.
Visit or call Chuck Williams and the team of professionals at Southern Bank in Belhaven for all your banking needs. At Southern Bank, our interest is you. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Learn more at southernbank.com.
The hottest topics of summer.
Everyone just relax, lock your doors, don't make eye contact with anyone, and listen to the radio.
Every day. Hear about it here with News and Views on Talk 96.3 and 103.7.
Welcome back in. WRAL had this story. They've updated it today. It has now been picked up by the national media. Over in Wilson, North Carolina, a man who was arrested last night about 24 hours after police say, this is disturbing, he shot and killed a 5-year-old little boy. Darius Sessoms, 25, was apprehended in Goldsboro by members of the U.S. Marshals Service Carolina's Regional Fugitive Task Force, Goldsboro Police, and Wayne County Sheriff's Office. He was charged with first-degree murder and was being held without bond in the Wilson County Jail. During a brief court hearing this morning, he said he planned to hire his own lawyer and rejected an attempt to have a judge appoint an attorney for him. Police were calling the shooting in a neighborhood of the 5100 block of Archers Road just after 5:30 p.m. on Sunday. Family members said Cannon Hannett was playing outside his father's house when he was shot in the head. 5-year-old little boy. The boy's two sisters, ages 8 and 7, saw their brother get shot, according to the mother. Cannon was taken to the medical center there in Wilson, where he died. No details about the possible motive for the shooting have been released, but police say the shooting wasn't random. Sessoms lives next door to Cannon's father, and a neighbor said that the two men had dinner together Saturday night and that Sessoms was at the neighbor's home earlier on Sunday. Doris LeBrant, who witnessed the shooting, said Session came up to Cannon, put the gun near his head, and fired before running back into his own house. My first reaction was he was playing with the kid, she said. For a second, I thought that couldn't happen. People don't run across the street and kill kids. She said she realized the gun was real when she saw Cannon's father reaction to the shooting, and she quickly went inside the home, locked the door, and called 911. What is our society coming to? Now, it sounds like there is a backstory to this. But there is, this is so heinous. This is so evil. This is so evil. A 5-year-old little boy, because this guy had some issue with his father, perhaps? I don't know. There is, look, I believe that anybody can be forgiven. I mean, the thief on the cross is forgiven. But my gosh, it seems like there ought to be a hot place in hell for this guy. Unbelievable. Pray for that family. 5618255. Let's go to Ellen in the Outer Banks. Hey, Ellen.
Hey, Tom. How are you?
I'm doing well. Good to hear from you.
Well, it's great to hear from you, and thank you again for being on and alerting us to that story about the Democrat lady who, which I hope you'll post that.
If you go on our Facebook page, you'll be able to find that. Yep. It's still.
Okay. Is it still there? Was it? I looked for
Tom and Sadie. It was Tom and Sadie. It should still be there. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that was a really good one because the point I make is, I don't hear these stories except from you. You can't go to mainstream media. MSN, I don't ever watch those, but even Fox sometimes doesn't bring these stories, and I think they're important.
Yeah.
People need to know, especially as it gets closer to the
it's encouraging. It's encouraging to see that the narrative by the CNNs and the MSNBCs it is fake news.
Yeah, it is. And so that's just what I wanted to make sure where I could find it.
Yeah, go to Tom and Sadie. Go to Tom and Sadie, and it will be posted within probably a few minutes after we go off the air. So thanks for the call.
Now I'll share that. Thanks
All
so
right,
much,
thanks,
Tom.
Ellen. You bet. We got to take another time out. Stay with us. I'll be right back.
I'm here with my good friend Scott Shook of the Shook Rouse Group of BB&T Scott and Stringfellow. Scott, what are the main philosophies that you and Thomas follow to help your clients?
Henry, we start by talking with our clients about their financial goals. Once we have an understanding of what they want to accomplish, we advise them on investing their assets in a manner they can be comfortable with through good times and bad. We firmly believe that asset allocation, diversification, and rebalancing are the only long-term strategy, not timing the market.
Scott, what's the best way for people to get in touch with you?
That's easy, Henry. Just give us a call at 252-378-3299.
BB&T Scott and Stringfellow is a division of BB&T Securities, LLC, member FINRA SIPC. BB&T Securities is a wholly owned non-bank subsidiary of Truist Financial Corporation. Securities and insurance products or annuities sold, offered, or recommended are not a deposit, not FDIC insured, not guaranteed by a bank, not insured by any federal government agency, and may lose value. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. Asset allocation cannot eliminate the risk of fluctuating prices and uncertain returns. Diversifying investments does not insure against market loss.
It's summertime here at East Carolina Chrysler Dodge Jeep.
Come check out our huge selection of Ram trucks.
Come see us. Come see us.
East Carolina Chrysler Dodge Jeep has incredible savings on Ram trucks right now. Get 0% financing for 72 months and no payments for 90 days. That's right, get 0% for 72 months and no payments until November on Ram trucks. And hey, summer is in full swing. It's time for a new Jeep. Hurry into the summer clearance event at East Carolina Chrysler Dodge Jeep and get 0% for 72 months and no payments for 90 days on most Jeep models, including the most awarded SUV ever, the Jeep Grand Cherokee. And check out the new Jeep truck, the new Jeep Gladiator. We are East Carolina Chrysler Dodge Jeep, serving customers and community for over 37 years.
East Carolina Chrysler Dodge Jeep.
Across from the Cracker Barrel in Greenville.
Come see us. Come see us.
Customer must qualify for all rebates. See dealer for details.
Powered by Clean Surface Technology, PPG introduces their newest innovation called Ultralast. It's an interior paint plus primer engineered for unmatched washability. Ultralast brings research and technology from PPG Automotive and Industrial Coatings divisions to create a super premium interior paint that's now available to you. Just visit your local PPG paint store in Greenville, Goldsboro, Wilmington, or New Bern. To help make your color choice easier, PPG Paints has a virtual room painter online where you can use pictures of your house or sample rooms provided. Just visit ppgpaints.com and launch the visualizer. Whether your job involves interior, exterior, or protecting an uncommon surface, find out what professional painters and contractors already know. Your local PPG store is hands down the right place for paints, stains, and coatings. Plus, the friendly professionals at PPG are knowledgeable and willing to help. PPG Paint Stores, Greenville, Goldsboro, Wilmington, and New Bern.
To the show that really makes you think.
He is a genius.
He's all powerful.
He brought a kind of heat.
He could be the best. Just don't hurt yourself, okay? More news and views on Talk 96.3 and 103.7.
Welcome back in. Ellen in the Outer Banks, if you want to email our producer, email Clark at IBX Media, and he can actually send you that audio clip if you would like. He was very kind to do that. Before we go back to the phones, I do want to mention real quickly, Sarah Carter is reporting that the oral arguments in the Michael Flynn case went before the D.C. Circuit Court panel of 10. And during those oral arguments, Jeffrey Wall, who was the Justice Department attorney, indicated that there was additional evidence vindicating Michael Flynn above and beyond what's already been produced, indicating that it was, these are my words, not his, that it wasn't ready to go public yet, but there was more evidence that Michael Flynn was framed and that he is innocent. So we'll watch as that comes out over the next couple of days. 561-8255, our old friend Sutton's on the line. Hey, Sutton.
Hey, Tom, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Good to hear from you.
All right, quick, fast, and hurry. It is fake news. But you know what frustrates me more, Tom, than anything as being a black man, is when I'm talking to black peoples, you know, and they don't understand, they don't know the history. They don't know the history of the Democrat Party. They listen at that fake news, and everything that the Democrat Party says, they gobbles it up. I would say out of 10 that I come across and that I talk to, they may be one, maybe a greater number than that, maybe one that knows history, and maybe one that knows that can see through this propaganda thing of the Democrat, the Black Lives Matter thing, and all that type of things, and Joe Biden making his little statements and trying to throw Trump under the bus of being a racist as if Trump haven't did anything good. I tell them even the devil did something good.
Well,
you know, Tom, for real. And it's frustrating when they don't know their history and ain't trying to learn it.
Well, I got news for you, Sutton. I don't think, you're talking about blacks not knowing the history. Unfortunately, whites don't know the history. I don't think anybody knows. Very few people are very well informed anymore. And I think that's what liberals want. They want us to be, they're hoping that they can hoodwink the American voter. And, again, they throw out these little sound bites as if they're going to really be meaningful and people are going to turn their vote on the sound bite. And unfortunately, it does work. It does work. People, they'd rather be entertained than informed.
And there's nothing that Joe Biden can say in the sight of some of them. I don't care what he say. It's all right. It's all right, because they don't know the man of the 50 years he been in the Congress and Senate or whatever he is. They don't know his voting history and what he is all about.
Yep. Bingo. Okay. Sutton, always good to hear from you. Thanks so much. Some fresh roundup of coronavirus insanity. A circus in Germany has been surviving the pandemic of the coronavirus. This is a circus. They're selling lion and tiger poop. Apparently people want it because it keeps other animals away from their gardens. That's very special. So somebody's making money off the coronavirus. There you go. Circus selling lion and tiger poop. And thanks for being with us. Thanks for all the calls. Pray for our nation, and we'll do it again tomorrow at 5 o'clock. We'll see you then. Bye-bye, everybody.
Hey, Bertie County. We love